Everybody, Captain Rob here. Today, we're going to talk about how to buy a boat. The first thing you should realize is that when you buy a boat, it's not like buying a car because there's lots of car dealerships around your house. So if you buy a Toyota, you can go, you have your choice of where to go. But if you buy a boat, there's only one dealer around your house typically. If you buy a Grady White, there's only one dealer. So it's very important that you treat everybody fairly. Don't look to, get every single dollar in the negotiations because long term you're going to need each other. They're going to need you and you're going to need them. Second, I think that it's important to set up like an email account just for your boat so that you can go to that email and all the emails about repairs and maintenance or people you're talking about buying the boat are in there together. That is very important. And thirdly, I think that if you're buying a boat, whether it's used or new, it's good to have a spec sheet that lists the various boats and all their specifications. And we're going to show you that later on. But let's just talk about the main goal. Define your main goal if you're going to buy a boat. You need to know what kind of fishing boat or a motor boat. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to ski with it? Are you going to basically keep it at the dock and just use it as a party boat? You need to understand what is the main goal of your boat. The purpose, is it leisure, family, friends, fishing? Our boat we bought, we use it for dock and dining, we use it for diving, we use it for fishing, we use it for clamming, we use it for going and partying at the dock. So we use it for everything. So we needed a well-rounded boat. Estimate usage hours. Now, it's just good to understand how much you plan on using the boat. Not that you could say, I'm going to use it only 5 hours a week. It's not worth it because 5 hours on a boat is worth more time than anything you can imagine, especially if you have your family with you. And but it's still good just to see do you have the time for a boat? You don't want a boat you only use once a month in most cases. Identify stakeholders. Okay. And what I mean by this is that when you buy a boat, you're going to have family, friends. You're going to have people at the dock, or if you have a marina. Identify who do you think is going to be involved with your boat in any way. Who's going to repair it? Maintenance plans, stuff like that. You need to identify risk. Okay, everything has risk, and a boat has risk. Okay, you need. I obtained a captain's license through the Coast Guard, but there's training. Can you find a dock? Can you find people to go out the boat with you? Financing, how you're going to finance it, insurance and warranties. Very important. And remember, too, that if you buy a boat, like I said earlier, it's not like a car. If you buy a Toyota car, any Toyota dealer has to service that car. But if you buy a boat from out of town, and let's say you buy a Pursuit and you go and there's one Pursuit dealer by you, they don't have to service that boat if they're busy. Okay, there's no requirement that they do, but if you buy it from them, you're more likely to get that boat serviced. So remember that risk because it's important. This is a picture of my brother-in-law who knows a lot about boats, but he's not that good looking, but I figure I'd put that there. Create a work breakdown if you're going to be buying a boat, okay? Research websites, attend boat shows, visit boat dealers. Decide between a new or used boat. Obviously, a used boat, you better be handy because it's probably going to break down. Boats get beat up a lot. You better know how to do maintenance and stuff like that because a used boat can cost more than a new boat if you have a lot of breakdowns or you spend all your time fixing it rather than using it. New boats are expensive, and that's the big drawback. But if you're super handy, used boats are a good way to go. If you're not, you may want to consider a new boat. Necessary training. Again, boats are not like driving a car, and it's an expensive. Boats are expensive, so you want to be careful with them. So obtain necessary training. Determine the fair value if you have a trade-in. This is pretty easy to do. You can find comparable boats on websites with the same amount of hours and that kind of stuff. Develop a budget. Now, typically, anyway, my experience is that new boats are typically marked up 45%, and that's why when you go to a boat show, you'll see, $100,000 off because they're marked up a lot. So you need to consider that. And the other thing is ongoing costs. A lot of people talk about this. They'll say 10%. I think it's 20%, especially in an area like I'm in, New Jersey. You can plan on spending 20%. And even if you do the work yourself, remember there's a cost to that because you're not doing other things. So the ongoing cost is a lot. Maintenance, summer docking, storage, fuel, and other boat gear. If you buy a boat for $100,000, you can expect annual costs between 10 and 20 is what I think is a good number to think about. Okay, negotiating a purchase. I always like to have what I call spec sheet, and these are really handy. This is what we did for our boat. This is our current boat, and this is what we're looking at. And you could see, there was cost data up here, and the length, the beam, the fuel, the dead rise, all these were very important to us. We wanted a bigger boat. We wanted it wider. Fuel, we go out 100 miles, so we need a lot of fuel in the tanks. The weight was important. We didn't want something too heavy, and the horsepower. So this makes it very easy if you have a spec sheet and you line everything up because you can see it. We knocked we had like 10 boats we were looking at. But one by one, they got knocked down until we came to, 3 or 4 that we really liked. So I would definitely say if you're buying a boat, you need to prepare a spec sheet. Again, new boats are marked up about 45%. Used boats you can find on websites. And again, you can do a spec sheet on that, right? Used boats with all the hours and the year and compare them to yours, and I think you'll get a good price, a fair value. And also remember sales tax. Like when you buy a boat, even if it's used, you got sales tax in there you have to pay. There's transportation costs. You got to put it at the dock. There's all kinds of other things. It's not just that initial cost. So you need what's called, the walk out the door price, and put in the sales tax because that's a lot. You buy $100,000 boat, it's $3,500. It's $3,500. Remember, the one thing good if you do buy a new boat and you trade in your old boat, there's no sales tax. You save on that. So if you buy a boat for $100,000 and you trade in a $50,000 boat, you avoid the sales tax on half of your boat basically, which is a lot. Indicate, this is interesting because if you buy a boat, and let's say you're a cash buyer, you're going to buy it for cash. They sometimes they'll give you'll make money if you finance it. Like if financing costs you, even with interest costs you, let's say $5,000, they'll say if you finance the boat, we'll give you 10. You make $5,000. And the reason they do this is because banks like to market and marketers like to market to boat people. So they'll actually pay boat dealers for loan applications. So always go in and say, I'll pay cash because I didn't want to pay. I wanted to pay cash. And, they had to pay me to finance it, so I had to do it. And remember, too, I did them a favor by doing that. And you want to, again, build a relationship with these people, so I might as well help out the financing people there too at the dealership. Also negotiate the summer dockage and winter storage. Okay, you're buying a boat. If you're buying a used boat, you could still do that, right? Because they may have a summer dock that they don't need anymore. Know and negotiate all warranties, because warranties are part of a negotiation, and this is something they'll give you. Like if you have a 3-year warranty on an engine, they'll go 6. And all the electronics, they'll go from 3 to 5. But you need to say, hey, listen, I'm going to let you finance the boat. I'm going to finance the boat. You need to give me more there. So that type of stuff you need to do. Anyway, guys.